These are the government's words used in court earlier today. The point that Mr Jenkins is making, that he's prepared to go into the witness box to say that these views are truly his own and that he genuinely holds them, we don't dispute that he genuinely holds the views, but the fact that he stated them in an affidavit then makes it incompatible with him acting as an independent representative in legal proceedings. We say that it really should be Mr Walker conducting the hearing from here.
Anyway, I just think we need to take a deep breath after today because we are a little bit battered and bruised, I think.
Well, you know, when we're told to get legal representation, you come along to help, and then
but
they
I'm
say...
not legal representation. I'm not a practicing barrister. I can't legally represent you, as I've explained to you. I can assist you, but I can't legally. I could be your representative as a person, but I can't be your legal representative.
Yeah, okay. Well, why didn't they let you do that today?
Well, because what they were saying was that their argument was I'd put on an affidavit, and therefore I was a witness. My argument to that was that that makes no difference. I was prepared to go in and say that, you know, as a barrister, I still hold those same views, and I'm going to be able to represent you. But at the end of the day, he took the view that it's too conflicting to be both a witness and to represent somebody.
Well, would it be better if you withdrew your affidavit?
Well, there may be an argument for that, but then I will have withdrawn the points that I make in that affidavit, which deal with a number of the issues that have taken place, the history of the overall history. This is not just an application for cabinet documents. It is within the scheme of the government destroying 78 councils. And that story needs to be told by somebody who can actually answer questions about it, which I can do, because I actually attended the inquiries, I've made submissions, I've followed the whole thing through. Now, if they don't cross-examine me on that, that evidence will stand. That evidence stands. If you withdraw that evidence, you don't. The case just drops back and being somebody trying to get these documents, which went to cabinet, and how important cabinet is, you know, stuff. But Phil, you've actually had a big victory today, because what's clear is that you can receive assistance from not only myself but other people in the running of your case, and that means we can put on submissions, affidavits, which has happened, and frankly we can get the material into evidence that we want. Now, asking questions, next time we might write it all out so that you feel relaxed about what kind of questions. I think you went really well today. I know you're disappointed, but I think that we've got evidence out there in relation to a draft business case, which is really important, and we've got other evidence of IT options paper, which is out there. They are there, and the options paper, there's no question about the options paper. That must be provided. That's analysis. It was an analysis document. They should be providing the source material in the KPMG short form document they've provided. So I think all the arguments we want to put in relation to waiver and the course of conduct of this department over time, we can all still argue all of that at the hearing. The government is desperate. There's no doubt about it. This government is desperate. They are hiding these KPMG source material. It is a disgrace. It's one of the lowest acts I think I know of any government, to try to persuade people saying we're going to save you $32 billion. Here's the source of where we get it from. But, oh no, we're not going to show it to you. I think that is one of the great low acts. And indeed, Baston, in his, Sir Justice Baston in the Ku-ring-gai case, makes that very point. It would be incoherent, think of the words, incoherent for any minister in those circumstances not to disclose those underlying KPMG documents. You'll never see a stronger indictment of a government than by that judge, who's one of the best judges in this state, of an existing government. I mean, that is very serious stuff. The government should hang its head in shame, frankly. But we are after these documents, Phil, and we're going to get them. So I think that all in all, we've found out through your efforts, Phil, that there's a draft business case. And I think that draft business case never went to Cabinet. We know they've got it and they should produce it. And I think we'll try to get that one way or another. Maybe even orders at the hearing itself that it be produced. And the options analysis on ICT, I think hopefully we'll get that too. So I think that we'll have to bring you up to speed on cross-examination and make you an expert on cross-examination, give you lots of questions to ask, and I'll be there if there's a need to ask any other questions. I don't think there's a problem with that anymore. I think the arguments we've got are strong, and that is that did they, by their course of action in putting out a public KPMG report with direct references, unqualified, in support of that, did that mean that they had publicly waived their right to object to that, or had by their course of conduct actually released them unbeknown to themselves? And I think it's a strong point. It hasn't been argued before, and I'm hopeful Phil will win. I think the Department of Premier and Cabinet probably think that Phil Walker and Phil Jankin are the enemy. We're not the enemy. We are actually representatives of the people. And if this government thinks that it's good to be an enemy of people like Phil Walker and Phil Jankin, mate, they're for the big chop.
Well, I want to know what this war memorial's all about. What did these boys fight and die for?
I know.
For this?
Yeah.
For freedom from information? Don't think so.
The public and you have done everything you can to get the actual truth out in this case, and you have been obstructed at every step by the Department of Premier and Cabinet.